let's return to an old friend, string. Since the very first module of the first part of this course, you've been working with strings. It's easy to think of them as a fundamental type that's built into the language, even though they're not. Well, maybe they are, because the standard library is standardized by the standards committee that standardizes the language. And every C++ compiler contains the standard library, and therefore you will always have it to count on. And it becomes sort of a language lawyer point, whether it's really part of the language or not. Anyway, there it is, and you kind of already know how to work it. And I just want to point out to you that it is a class within the standard library. In fact, there are a pair of them. String and WString represents a wide string, more useful in Unicode situations. And it has operator overloads that you have again been using almost without noticing. Want to add two strings together, concatenate them, use the plus operator or use plus equals, barely even notice. Want to compare two strings, use the equal or less than or whatever. Again, you barely even notice. It's so obvious what they do, and we've used the output operator to send it out to cout so many times. That's really the definition of a great overload in a great class, that anybody can tell what it does, and strings certainly fits that. You may not have known that string also has methods, like take any string dot size and it'll return back how many characters are in the string. You can get a substring. You can find a particular character within the string. And you can even iterate through a string exactly the same way that you could iterate through a vector of person objects. You'll see some pretty heroic things sometimes chaining these up. So I'll call one method to find me the first letter I within the string, and then I'll take a substring starting from there. The second parameter of substring, how long, will be based on calling something else that finds another thing and subtracts and blah, blah. People do some pretty cool stuff, and there also are more libraries wrapped around strings' basic functionality to do heavy-duty string manipulation. As you know, if you want to use a string, you include the string header. And I don't have a lot to demo for you, but I just wanted to quickly show that you can call size and you can call substring. I think you can read this code and guess what it's going to do. Third, remember, their full name was Third Space Fiction. Let's just run to here so you can kind of see where we are, and then down to the end. Right. It's 13 characters long. You can count out for yourself what Third Space Fiction is. And the substring, the first four characters, is THIR. And you can see that we were asking for the first four characters because we said starting at position 0, and we want 4 long. And that is important to remember that, first of all, like everything in C++, we're 0-based. And secondly, that this second parameter isn't until position whatever, it's how many long. If you can think of a kind of string manipulation that you're likely to need to do, string in the standard library has it. It's common and natural. You've been using it all along. Know that it's there and know that it is, in fact, part of the standard library. It's really not possible to cover the entire standard library in a single module. And I'm not even sure how useful it is, because not everybody needs everything that the standard library has to offer. But I want you to know how much is there, and you can go looking for it yourself when you need it. For example, you want to do some things with date and time. Look in headers like chrono, that'll give you access to the system clock to find out the current time, and ctime, which lets you do manipulations like the difference between two dates or the difference between two times. Doing some mathematical work and want to work on complex numbers, there's a header called complex, which represents, the things that have real and imaginary parts. Maybe you're going to work on some matrices and you want to do, dot products and those kinds of manipulations. Look in numeric. Need a pseudo-random number? Look in random. It's not really random, it's pseudo-random, but close enough. Want to work with regular expressions? There's a header called regex. Good luck in there. Regular expressions are tough in any language, but incredibly powerful, right? And what about all the math you learned in high school or even grade school? Absolute values, rounding, square roots of things, powers of things, trigonometry of all kinds and hyperbolic trigonometry, all in CMath. Include the appropriate piece of the standard library and use it. It's optimized for performance, it's tested for weird edge cases, and other people will be able to read your code and know what it's doing at a glance. Great idea to learn your way around the standard library. Will make you kind of a secret weapon because you'll get stuff done faster than other people who don't know all the power that's there.